Well, hello, my lovelies. I'm running a couple minutes behind. Hello, hello, here I am. I gotta turn on some lights here, I guess. I don't know. It seems really dark and shady right here. I don't know. There's that better? I don't know. Anyway, I'm armed. The drink, Kleenex. I am fighting off sinus stuff, sinus infection to be exact. There you go. There's a little more light. Okay. The cat discovered that I came in here, so he has been at the door trying to. Yep, with the knob. I'm looking a hot mess today, guys. I apologize. I'm still trying to set up. I'm sorry. I put in a grocery order online, and I had to go. My husband and I had to go pick that up, and the problem with it was that I couldn't pick it up until literally an hour ago. There we go. Look how red that is. That's from me blowing my nose. Hi, Jess. I've got curly cues going on here. My hair is just a hot mess. I didn't do anything. I showered today. I just put on some mascara, messed with my eyebrows just a little bit so I didn't look like I was dead. So you can maybe, I don't know, see my eyeballs better. And here I am. So, hello, Ben's Over Acres. How are you, Ken and Barb? I was gonna wear my glasses, but I've decided that, well, I can't really see very well with my glasses anymore. I'm a touch upset about that. So I've literally had my glasses for a little over a year. And either my eyes are getting worse or very quickly, or my prescription might be off. I don't really know. But I am having more visual issues now. So anyway, what do you think of the poof ball here on my head? Now, I did not share this out with anybody because I honestly didn't know. I set it up last night and I really didn't know if I was going to go live. It was kind of it was really laying in the balance, frankly. Because I just didn't know how well I was going to feel. The weirdest thing is that excuse me. I'm sorry. I will be coughing and stuff throughout the day or the evening, I guess. I'm sorry. So I started on last week. Turn my notifications off on my phone here. Last week, I no more than said, like I kind of felt like I was getting a bug, and I kind of felt it in my sinuses anyway. And then when I don't know, probably by I can't even tell you for sure. Like everything's is a blur. But on I believe it was Tuesday, I said I had to tell my my council, I said we have to reschedule the council meeting. I can't do this tonight. I can't do this on Wednesday. I'm sick. One of my other council members was sick. It's just like, no. So we're supposed to have council tomorrow night. We shall see. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been. Hang on here. I'm going to put a little bit of chapstick under my nose. Look how red that is. It's so bad. So bad. All right. It says they only have one of you in here. What is going on? It's probably because I didn't share you out. I didn't share this out. And the reason that I didn't, like I said, was because I didn't know for sure. So who is here? And is it? Hi, South Florida. How are ya? How are things? So for this last, I don't know, week or so, I've been trying to just, not quite a week. I've been trying to just heal naturally and all that fun stuff. But I'm so clogged up. My sinuses are so clogged up and they're so infected, and I'm not a happy camper about that. So how was everybody's week? Ours was pretty typical. My husband was really sick. Tuesday and Wednesday, I think it was. I started feeling kind of poopy about Tuesday-ish, and then I don't know. It was so weird because by Thursday or Friday, by Friday, I was starting to feel better, and by Saturday afternoon, I just started crashing, and I spent all day Sunday yesterday in my pajamas and all of that stuff. I finally took a shower this morning. I needed to. So very wet and windy in the South, huh? So Terry from Organic Raw Roots Farm, she lives down by Miami. And she was sending me videos today. She's like, she's like, girl, it's so hot down here. I'm sweating and it's winter. This is ridiculous. And I go, I'll trade you because it's literally 18 flipping degrees. So, oh, thank you, Jess. I appreciate it. Excuse me. So I apologize if I'm coughing. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep up the discussion tonight, but so this last week, I really didn't get like a ton accomplished, but I did do a few things. 78. Oh, okay. 78 degrees is freaking heaven. That would be nice. I would love it. I was wearing pajamas all day, took a shower and put on more pajamas. Yeah, I wanted to, but I needed my hoodie. I have been cold all day, but it's been, like I said, I think we had a high of 20 degrees. I think we hit 20 today. We don't have any snow. So I feel like the cold is not justified by snow. 62 degrees. Ugh. I'm envious. I'm so envious. Terry told me that I needed to be a snowbird and come live with her. We needed to live on the farm during the winter months. Hot toddy and sleep. So, okay, so my regimen has been crazy. I'm taking I'm joking when I say this, but I am taking a lot, but I keep saying I'm taking a pallet of vitamins and things like that. I have my diffuser going. And it has a breathe mixture, okay, from doTERRA, because I sell doTERRA, obviously. I'm a wellness advocate. So I have that running, and I added to that mix, there's like There's tea tree, there's eucalyptus, and then like a few other things. I think there's rosemary in there. I can't remember all of the oils that are blended in there, but they're all menthol and they all open. And I love my diffuser. So I've been using that. I've been rubbing, I'm using mentholatum, the children's mentholatum, because it smells like cherry. It's still menthol, but it's still cherry. But I use that on the bottoms of my feet and cover them with socks. My chest and my back, my throat, and under my nose. So I really kind of wonder if that, on top of all of the vitamins that I'm taking, oh my gosh. I take D3, 10,000 IUs of D3, zinc, magnesium, elderberry, echinacea, a B complex, I'm taking Femotidine. That's Pepsid, essentially. And I'll tell you about that here. I'll tell you why in a bit. Obviously I'm taking Mucinex, type stuff, guaifenesin, and, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm missing a bunch. Oh, a biotin and, collagen mix, multiple vitamin, elderberry. I can't think of all of them. There's literally, I probably am taking 15 pills ish a day, probably 20 in total. So yeah. I have heard about onions in socks. Yes. And, I just have not done that. I don't have any white onions or even yellow onions. All I've got are red onions, and I kind of don't want them to stain my feet, but I guess it shouldn't matter, right? It's just my feet. They're going to get covered in socks anyway. It is Mandy's candies. You're right. I do mix all of it together. I basically take most of it in the morning, and then I'll take another set of it at night. But I don't take the B complex at night. I've been taking another, a different immunity pill that is, mushroom based, and instead of the immunity pack that I bought from GNC. So yeah, it's crazy. Last night I didn't take the second round of everything, and I felt it this morning, and it hit me really hard overnight. I woke up crusty nose and the whole 9 yards. I was like, wow, I'll bet this is real attractive. So funny thing actually that you say Mandy's candies, because my initials are MMS, and I've always been M&M. So and then when I got married, my last name actually, starts with an S. So I ended up actually being M&Ms. Zinc makes your stomach upset. Yeah, it does. You have to be very careful with zinc. Part of the reason why is because if you take too much, it'll give you an upset stomach. It can give you this feeling of, what do I want to say? I don't want to say paranoia, because it's not really paranoia, but you just feel sick. Okay. So yeah, zinc you have to watch how much you take. Same with D3. So with D3 though, especially us Midwesterners who don't get a lot of vitamin D throughout the summer, or the winter, you should be taking orally, like pill form, not the liquid form. The pill form is better for you, because it'll release more slowly. But and you do have to be careful with the oral combination of with liquid stuff for overdosing on that. So you don't want to do that. But yeah, a lot of that stuff will upset your stomach, which is partly why I'm taking the Femotidine. Okay, Pepsid. It's the generic brand of Pepsid. They took ranitidine pretty much off of the market altogether. So that's your Zantac. And I don't I don't I'm not sure where I heard it, but I heard it from a doctor. And anyway, they had really good luck with taking the Femotidine. They were taking it twice a day, which it usually comes in 20 or 25 milligram tablets, usually 20 milligram tablets. That's your typical jumping off point. And this doctor found that when he had the sickness, the Femotidine and another drug, which you can't, that's not something that you can get over the counter. And I'm not going to mention it, but that those two combination is like it zapped it. So you've got, there's a lot of schools of thought of all of these things. Well, now at this stage, I know I've got a sinus infection and it's my normal cold stuff. So I'm not, yes, he was down with the sickness. Ooh, ah, so, and I know you know what that is. So Femotidine seems to have a really good component to help battle that. I don't know. I just know that at this point, part of the reason why the biggest reason why I'm taking the Femotidine is because I've upped my vitamin intake so much to try to get rid of the infection. So I go through this usually 2-3 times a year. It just kind of depends. I have chronic sinusitis. I was diagnosed with chronic sinusitis when I was a teenager. The ENT actually said, now you've got the smallest nasal passages and sinus cavities I've ever seen. Like, oh, that's awesome. Great. Thanks. So he's like, he goes, I can go in and like roto-rooter them out. You know, we can go ahead and try and expand them and cut tissue out, you know, make them bigger. But he's like, you know, it can be risky and you might as well, you know, you've got a 50-50 chance of it coming back and creating more scar tissue and worse blockage. So I said, yeah, I'm not willing to do that. I got enough problems to deal with. I don't need to be dealing with, you know, 2 black eyes from being roto-rooted out. So I never did. I never did actually have that done. But he didn't think that it was a good idea anyway. He's like, that's really about my only option, and just taking antibiotics prophylactically. And I'm like, I just don't really want to do that because that builds up, you know, an intolerance, or I should say it builds up a tolerance for, you know, again, a resistance to antibiotics. So yeah. And for the longest time I was on antibiotics, it seemed like all of the time. So yeah. I don't have a Neti Pot, and I've always wanted to try one, but I'm not very good. I'm not very good with getting liquid up in my nose. Like my Flonase that I should be taking every day bothers me. So you can about imagine that me with a Neti Pot probably, yeah. But I do want to try one. I went so far today as when I was in the shower that I was just like trying to cup my hands full of hot water and just trying to, suck it up into my, up into my nasal cavity, and try and blow it back out. And I'm like, I couldn't do it because it hurt. So I'm super sensitive through my nasal passages. So, so I don't know how a neti pot would work for me, like how well. I've also noticed that when I am, since I've had my septum pierced, I have this like, I don't know, kind of weird click in the left side of my nose right through here. And I'm like, shoot, do I have a deviated septum now? So I am a walking calamity. I really am. But so I got up a video. I said I was going to try to last week, and came in clutch at the 11th hour, man. Last night I got one up. And it's the Instant Pot cheesy hash brown soup, which I think, well, I know Ben's Over Acres, they commented, and yeah, like, and then actually had oh my gosh, I can't think of their name. They're a newer channel, and I can't think of their name, but they're like, you had me at Instant Pot. I'm like, yes. I love my Instant Pot. I do. I got it used. And I got it for Christmas last year. Was it last year? Yeah, I got it for the holidays, I think, in 2020, Christmas of 2020, I think. So anyway, I use it frequently. Like I love making soup in it, and I just love being able to put whole meals in it. I've always been really like avid crock pot user. I love my crock pot, my cast iron Dutch oven. So those are things that are really super important to me, and I like used them all of the time, and I love them. And the Instant Pot just, like, I just added to it. It was great. Oh goodness. So I'm so clogged. Let's see, who all is here. I have two of you here. That's what I get for not sharing this out ahead of time. But I really just didn't know what I was gonna do. I went ahead and set it up last night thinking, you know what? I'm hoping I feel better tomorrow, and I'll be able to do this and not have a problem with it. And so but the day kind of Jess. So the day just kind of, as the day wore on, I started to feel a little bit better. And I think I'm able to get all of my chores and stuff done at a slower pace. But I just keep pushing forward because I have to. We have animals. They don't take care of themselves, I have to clean up after them all the time. And, we have businesses to try to run and keep going and try to make some money. My house is suffering unmercifully for it, but hey. So I actually was talking, I do need to rest some more and yes, and get well, and I will. Being down and not doing as much activity. I did, however, get a shirt. I got the shirt done for Terry Lynn's giveaway for her 60K on TikTok. She's over 60,000 on TikTok. It is insane. I'm like, girl, you are killing it. She's like, I got to get to that 100,000 so I can get paid more money, you know? And here, it really, a lot of that stuff kind of, I kind of started thinking about all of that. And I had to have a discussion with Tony about it. And I had to have, like, I've had discussions with everybody, and just like, I just don't know that any of that kind of stuff. I think I'm, you know, I think the platforms are a lot of work, and I don't know that any of them are going to be too terribly profitable on a personal level. So I'm really thinking that they need to be utilized differently. So I'm trying to think of ways to utilize them differently to make money for the business, you know? So I tried some new heat press vinyl, and it definitely is going to take a lot of adjustment, because it's a fantastic product. I'm not complaining about the product at all. The product is actually really good. But it doesn't stand up to commercial use. So to better explain that, the stuff that you buy, the heat transfer vinyl that I bought at a craft store, and I kind of bought it in kind of a pinch, just to see if I could do something with it, and, you know, all this other stuff. And it is literally made for a home cutting machine, like a Cricut, which I have sitting back there. Okay, so you can see it. There's stuff piled on top of it. There's a pink tote, and there's books in front of it, and it's not piled on top of it, but it's piled in front of it. So that's like the second generation Cricut. I've literally used that a handful of times because the cartridges were terribly expensive for it. And I just was not, I don't know, I wasn't enamored with it at all. So the heat transfer vinyl that I got was made specifically to be cut in a home cutting machine like a Cricut. I have I have use of, I should say, for the business. I have use of the big commercial sized, it's not even really that big either, but a much larger and more professional cutting machine, cutter plotter. And I don't use I put the images together and I do all of that stuff. So I use Photoshop, and, well, not so much Photoshop, but I'm learning. I got to try and learn more on that. But Photoshop and Illustrator, and then that gets sent to the cutting machine. I cut out the vinyl, and the vinyl that I use is for commercial grade. It's for it's for like mass production of t-shirts and apparel, and just apparel in general. And then of course I have the heat press, and the heat press is not even like a Cricut press anymore. It's definitely not an iron, a hand iron. It is literally, it's a commercial press. So I'm going to have to make a ton of adjustments. But I really do think that if I can find the same stuff, then if I can find the same stuff through the company that I use to get all my other heat press vinyl, they've got some fun stuff, and I want to try it. Let's just put it like that. Yep, I am the designer. Yeah, well, the shirt I have on underneath the t-shirt just looked freaking funny, didn't it? Is my Live from the Earth, Play in the Dirt. Did that one. I designed the Lou the Dick Rooster. Well, actually, Tony did that one for me. I designed up. I've had like 4 business accounts that I've done. Yeah, so I'm learning these programs, and I am doing this on a professional level, so on a more professional level. And my goal is to get enough sold so that I can get into actual screen printing. So that is the goal for this year, is to get into screen printing, which will actually be the moneymaker. Because while heat transfer is great for, like like small things, small batches of apparel, screen printing can be done on the mass. I mean, it's more work. It's a lot more work, but it's worth it. So as I have discussed this, where I will be doing, essentially every year I want to start adding something new. When it comes to, I'm sorry, my nose is itchy really bad right here. My nose is so dry. I really want to get into commercial printing and be very diverse in that ability. So I'll still be doing the heat press stuff, but I want to move into screen printing. Then I've been looking at direct garment, which is actually sublimation printing. That stuff is super expensive. It is super expensive. The machinery itself is insanely expensive. So at least for a commercial operation, it's insanely expensive. So I don't want to do that right away. And I've thought, then we can move in. I would move into, basically, I'm taking whatever money I can get from the heat press business, rolling that into screen printing. Once I've made my money back from screen printing, I'm going to roll that into embroidery and or sublimation printing. I'm not sure which one. And then once I make the money back from that, so I have like a 3-year plan, basically one thing a year. So, and then I will be full service, essentially, is what it'll come out to. And that will be my contribution to the income for, keeping things running on the homestead. So, I've got a lot of improvements, structural and just oh my gosh, infrastructure. I'm like, my mind is blown right now. I've got really big plans for and needs, frankly, let alone the wants, for what needs to happen here. And so I'm hoping that will help me get to where I want to be with the financing, to be able to finance all of these things that I need to get done. So I've been really inspired lately. So I guess that's a good thing. I've been inspired to do a lot of different things. So one thing at a time, right? What else? Let's see. I've already started planning for the garden. And when I'm going to seed start. So this week I've been lost. Like, I've been just sitting. I've just been lost in my head because I can't really get up. I can't really do a whole lot physically without wearing out. So it is great to have a business plan. And the thing is that it's a clear path, a much more clear path, and more direct, I guess, than just saying, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to make this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah. So I've set up a goal, financially, what I want to make for, our business this year, and what I want to make for, or what I want to be able to accomplish with Royal Amethyst Acres. So it's, for the homestead part of it, and the, the growing and all of those things. So I have these goals in mind, and yeah, I've got them all written down. But I seem to sabotage myself. So I need to stop letting everybody know what I'm doing. I guess I don't really know. It is the weirdest thing. It truly is the weirdest thing. It seems that if I speak it, then it doesn't come to fruition because either someone else has already beat me to the punch, or something will hinder me from doing it for whatever reason. So for some people, for most people, you speak something into existence. You verbalize your your wants and your goals and your wishes, whatever. And typically that works very well for most people, but for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to work like that for me. So Terry she always tells me, she's like, girl, you got to speak it into existence. You got to will it into existence and blah, blah, blah. And yes, I know this, but I can't speak it into existence because it won't come true. And I pointed things out, like what has worked and what hasn't worked. And she's like, oh, I get it now. So, and as I've explained things to people, they're like, you're right. You're so right. So, yes, vision boards. I actually wanted to do, I'm hoping that I'm getting over the hump here, and by this weekend I'll feel much, much better. I actually it's been on my list of videos to make, which is a vision or goal board. And because I use them, and that way it's here, it's visual for me. I haven't made mine this year. So I thought it would be really good to be able to show people how to actually make that, and very cheaply. So that is one of the videos that is on deck. Like I said, I'm hoping I can do that this weekend, but we shall see. So tomorrow night I'm doing council meeting. And Wednesday is still supposed to be really super nice out, so I'm going to try and get some stuff done outside. And then Thursday is also supposed to be really nice out. So we're supposed to have 3 days-ish worth of 40+ degree weather, 3 to 4 days, and which is so odd. But Thursday, I get to go see my new grandbaby. I get to go to the ultrasound on Thursday. I am so excited. I cannot wait. So I have been pushing so hard to get myself better so that, I don't go anywhere sick, because I don't want to take, if I have something other than my sinus infection, which I don't think I do. I think it's just kind of a cold sinus infection stuff. I will do whatever I have to do But I am so excited to go see the ultrasound. I got a message. I started getting text messages from my daughter yesterday, and she's like, Mom, I have a question for you. And I said, what? Yes, it's almost grandbaby time. I'm so excited. She's like, well, I have a lot of pressure in my hip, in my pelvis. And I go, okay. And she's like explaining all of these things. She goes, I can't stop eating. And she said, I have more lung space. And I said, because the baby dropped. And she said, yes, she definitely dropped because my belly is sitting lower. And I said, that's why you have the pressure in your pelvis. And she said, she's like, I have so much room. I can breathe better, and I can eat, my stomach isn't the size, scrunched up. And I said, yes. So she's like, but I am having a lot more pain, and I'm having a lot more pressure in my pelvis. And I said, oh, just, watch for contractions, watch for, if you have any spotting, any bleeding, anything like that. I said, you're 32 weeks. So let's not do this, let's not do this too early. I said, but if you wait like 5 more weeks and 5 days, then she can be born on her Mima's birthday. And I said, then she'll be 38 weeks, and that'll be fine. So she is due March 5th. And February 5th, we are doing a baby shower. So I'm excited. In fact, I will show you one of the things I got for her, and I couldn't pass it up because it was on clearance, and it's going to be a little big for her, but she'll grow into it probably by the time, it's a 3 to 6 months, and I don't know how big she's going to be, but look at this outfit. Is that not so stinking cute? Look, it's got chickens. Yeah, so little barn and tractor and fence and sheep and apple trees, and yeah. And for Christmas, we went ahead and gave her, and her name will be Maisie. But anyway, so for Christmas, we actually went ahead and gave our daughter a gift for Maisie, and it was little booties, newborn booties, and they're her very first Converse. I love my Chucks. So does her mom. So she had baby booty. She has baby booty Chuck Taylors Converse. Can you tell I'm excited? I am so excited. And then our Airstream group, I just got an invitation today. Our Airstream group that we belong to, our regional group, sent me an invite and said, we'd love to see you and Tony at on February 5th at, this place. So, and, we're going to have our sweetheart dinner, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, about that. So I had to tell her, sorry, we are not going to be able to make it. We're doing a baby shower for our daughter. And she's like, oh my gosh, that'll be so much fun. She goes, that'll be way more fun. And I said, well, I don't know if it'll be way more fun, but it's way more important. She said, exactly. She said, grandbabies are so much more fun. So Sean was born at 30 weeks. Aww. Yeah, so I told Kennedy I don't want her to. I'm like, let's not have her too early, okay? um, we don't need NICU and all that fun stuff. So let's not do that. They also got the news that the inspection, they were looking to buy a house, and they got pre-approved for a certain amount, and the house that they looked at, that they really are like, we really kind of like this house a whole lot. The lady that is selling it, her husband was a vet. He has since passed, and which is why she's selling the house. And my son-in-law is in the Guard, and she had 2 other offers on the house, and she's like, and she accepted. She didn't even ask for anything more. She didn't hem or haw about any of it. She said, nope, it's going to this family because you're in the Guard, you're a military family, for the most part. And so now we're just waiting on all the paperwork to go through. So we could be having a baby shower and a moving party all in one weekend. So we are so excited. We are so excited because things just seem to really be picking up for all of our kids, but most especially with the grandbabies and the our oldest. So yeah, I don't know. I can say I'm extremely blessed, and so I feel like everything else is just peanuts right now. As long as our kids are successful and our grandbabies are healthy and they're, and we get to see them often, then that's pretty much the spice of our life. All 3 of my kids were late. All of them. My oldest was 13 days late, and it was so, and I don't know, it had to have been fate, maybe, I don't know. Hi Deb. Oh no, you'll have to tell me what's going on. So when our oldest daughter, we had 2 names picked out. We decided we weren't going to go with finding out the sex of the baby, with the ultrasound, with the first one. I was like, yeah, whatever. It's a surprise. So we had 2 names picked out, a boy's name and a girl's name. And the day that our daughter was born, Kennedy is her name. And we just really liked that name because we, we're MTV generation, okay? Like, we loved MTV. And we watched a lot of it. And there was a VJ on there, and her name was Kennedy. So, well, hi, how are you, Margot? You can see my lovely red nose. I feel like Rudolph. But anyway, so my husband had called home, had called his mom, and said, well, we had a baby girl, and we've named her Kennedy. And his mom said, well, how I was talking, how Mandy was talking about, she's going to be the first woman president, blah, 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 that kind of stuff, And he's like, yeah. She said, well, she has been born on JFK's birthday. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. You know, like it seems a little fortuitous, you know. Of course, she's not president. She has no aspirations of becoming a president or anything of that nature, but we just thought it was kind of cool. It was just kind of cool. And then Victoria is our middle, and she was 2 weeks late. She was actually due, she wasn't 2 weeks late. She was due on Halloween, and she didn't come until the 8th of November. So I was like, oh, I wanted a Halloween baby. But her name was very fitting. We had her name picked out. We knew we were having a girl, and so we had her name picked out, and we knew it was going to be Victoria Starr. And my OB is like, wow, you couldn't have picked a more fitting name for her after we delivered. And I said, why is that? Well, because she came out with her nose in the air. She's like, she was royalty. So, you know, I think I just thought that was pretty cool. And she's very artistic, and all of my children are all very musically gifted. The girls both, but most especially Victoria, she loves performing arts and choirs and, you know, just drama, all that kind of stuff. And she's an amazing artist on top of all of that. And so it's just kind of funny because her name truly does fit her. Her first and her middle name they just fit her perfectly. So let's see. Update on Connor, our son. He was actually due on my grandfather's birthday, and then he was born on my half brother's birthday. So, which was a week later. So yeah, I mean, all my kids were late, and Victoria was my smallest. And I don't know if this grandbaby though is going to be, I don't think she might not hold off that long. So from the way she's growing, and I get to see her on Thursday, so we'll see, because she was measuring ahead. So, yay. Before, part of the reason why I was late getting on to the live was because my son had called, and he was just beaming, and he has been taking jujitsu, and he had been sick with a cold, and so he hadn't gone for a little over a week. He hadn't gone to his jujitsu class, and he went tonight, and he got a lot of complimenting from the instructor tonight. And yeah, he was just like, the kid is just on fire right now. He's just doing so well. And I don't know. I've got amazing kids. I've just got amazing kids. Sorry, I'm gonna brag. So anywho, how was well, I kind of got caught up a little bit with Jess on Marco. My nose obviously is still running. I'm avoiding, I don't want to blow my nose on camera. So I'm trying to keep it at least from running clear down. So anyway, what has everybody done this week? Like I said, I was kind of getting caught up with Jess already. But I mean, that's literally been my week. I have not done a whole lot of anything. So, Sophia, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I was already what I wanted to be, and I couldn't sustain it because of an injury. So, Um, I wanted to be a nurse. So, and I was a nurse. Well, I'm still a nurse. I'm just a retired nurse due to injury. So, um, yep, that's I've actually been thinking about that too. Um, it's funny you asked that, actually. All right. So the last few days, I was really thinking about how do I take care of the things I need to take care of in order to get back to possibly living living out the rest of my dream. Because I feel like, as a nurse and having had that taken away from me at this point due to injury, I really feel like that's still my calling. I am meant to heal people in whatever capacity that may be, whether that be through natural medicine, maybe some sort of like therapy on my land, some sort of food therapy, herbs, natural medicine. Like I'm not sure, or if I need to, or can I heal myself? Can I heal myself and return back to finish what I started? And it will change gears just a little bit because I'm older and because of my physical incapabilities and capabilities. I've really been thinking about that the last couple of days because I do feel as though I was meant to be a healer. So I'm trying to figure out what capacity that is. In what capacity am I a healer? And I miss nursing. I do. I miss it terribly. So it's funny that you actually asked that. So I don't know. Can I heal myself enough that I can get back into and go back and finish med school? Don't know. There is a song that there's a couple of songs that remind people of me. My husband always said that there's a song. It's "How to Save a Life," and he's like, I don't know why, but I always think of you with that, it's because you were meant to do that. And then there is a song by the Dresden Dolls, which most people don't know who the Dresden Dolls are. Of course, they're not together anymore. But anyway, so, but there is a song, Mandy Goes to Med School. And so, there's just a lot of different things that just point me into the direction I need to go. And I'm a healer by nature. And that's what I was meant to do, was heal people. So I'm trying to figure out in what capacity that is going to work. And if I can do that for myself first, because I have to heal myself first before I can enter back into the workforce. So because of permanent disability. So I've got to heal it, and I'm going to figure it out. Health coach would be good. Yes. I have been told I needed to be I should do inspirational speaking. I should be a life coach. I should be a health coach. I should be, those are all things that don't require me to be super physical in a job. But that's part of what I miss is I miss the nursing aspect. I miss the hands-on skills that I use and, all of those things. So, oh, thank you, Margot. I appreciate that. I think that if people can get themselves to that point where they believe in themselves again, and that they can do anything that they want to do, it's just they're going to have to learn how to adapt and overcome. And I think that's probably why I've been fighting this whole sinus mess this week. I've been fighting so hard, and I am really, I don't know. I'm not willing to admit defeat. I haven't been willing to admit defeat. So I posted on Facebook, and it was kind of it kind of came at a time where it all kind of added up into this. So somebody had taken and these stupid quizzes on social media platforms. Okay, first of all, these dumb little tests or quizzes or whatever, like, okay, they come from people sitting in a think tank room and who really don't have anything else better to do, and then they come up with these dumb ideas, and I'm like, they really need to be doing something a lot more contributing a lot more to society than these silly little tests, right? But they're kind of fun to do, whatever. So I took one because another nurse friend of mine had sent it and was like, "You've got to take this. This is hilarious." And so I did, and I posted it, and I'm like, okay, so I am literally like the basic level I am the first level of nurse. Okay, I'm a licensed practical nurse. I'm an LPN. In California or other states, I would be an LVN, a licensed vocational nurse. Okay. So on top of all of the nursing experience I've had, I've also had, I've been a firefighter. I've been an EMT basic, and I have been a paramedic. So healthcare and so many aspects, okay, they come very naturally to me for whatever reason, which is another reason why I say that nursing was my soul's calling. And it's part of the reason why I miss it so much, because it was my heart and soul. And it came easily to me. It came naturally to me. It felt good. It felt right. So I didn't have any issues with long-term care, emergency medicine, hospice care. I didn't like, I just excelled at that kind of stuff. And I got very high marks in school. And I got through nursing school I really did not crack my books. So I feel very blessed with that. And it's because I paid attention, and I learned very well through experience and through hands-on, through hands-on experience, and through I'm auditory and visual very much, and very tactical learner. So that's why I say I don't like to just sit and read books. You know, a lot of people love to just sit and read for pleasure. I can't stand it. I've never been able to do it. I want to read what I need to read and move on, like to get my information and just move on with life. So, oh, that's awesome. You were a psych nurse and parish nurse. Awesome. Awesome. I did psych nursing. In fact, Deb will know where I'm talking about too. Over in Omaha, there was a place that I did psych nursing in. Woo, that was fun. I did, I did home health care. You know, I was a home health care nurse too. I've run the gambit. I have literally worked in pretty much in almost every facet of nursing that you could work in. I've done some time in each area, like professionally after I was licensed, not just through school. So, and I loved every bit of it, every single area. Like I didn't care. I liked it all. I loved it all. And now I don't even know where the heck I was going with all of this stuff. So I just really feel like that maybe taking that quiz was super basic, and the questions were I had it done in less than 30 seconds and got 100% on it, and you know it was supposed to be this really hard test and all this other stuff, and it wasn't even so much that, but it kind of got me thinking about all of the things that people had been saying or had said prior over the last several years about nursing, and about how basically I didn't know what I was talking about because, you know, whatever. Yes, county homes. Yeah, so I actually worked at the state hospital in Dallas County. Most of the county homes were shut down prior to me being a nurse. But those people from the county homes were actually integrated into places like the resource centers in the state, the big hospital campus grounds, you know, assisted living for psych, blah, blah, blah. Or they aged out enough that they were put into long-term care facilities. And so that's where I got most of the experience there with that type of nursing. And I did work for a state resource center. I'm not gonna name the name because I don't need to do that. But that's where most of those people are. They're no longer county, now they're state. And that's exactly, I cut some teeth there, let me tell you. I cut some teeth in that place. And yeah, see, yep, privatized in 88. And like I said, the county home that I remember that was just here in this county, they actually didn't close until I want to say the 90s, early 1990s, maybe even mid 1990s. I'd been to the county home, but I had not been, I'd not worked there as an employee. I had applied there as a treatment, well, it was still a CNA, but it wasn't technically, you had to have your CNA, but it wasn't titled CNA. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the title was. So, and I want to say that I applied in like 92 92. I want to say 92. And shortly after that, I didn't get hired there because I was in high school. And I was working as a nurse's aide. So I was a certified nurse's aide, but they weren't hiring for part-time. They weren't hiring high school CNAs, basically. So, but yeah, I've had a very long history in healthcare. Like I've worked retail, I've worked convenience, I've worked fast food, I've managed fast food. But most of my work history I've been in healthcare, like from the very beginning. So, but that test brought up a lot of the stuff that I'd been experiencing over the last few days, or actually the last roughly year. And prior to the other night and taking that test, it was, I don't know, probably a week or two prior to that, I had somebody basically doubting and questioning my my knowledge about certain healthcare issues. And excuse me, I'm so sorry. And what was frustrating about it was that I thought, you don't know me. You don't know my history. You don't know my past. And when I say, okay, well, here are my credentials, and you still don't believe me with what I'm telling you for fact, thank you. I tend to get a little bit pissy about it. I feel attacked, and I feel as though, and I shouldn't take that stuff to heart, because they don't know me. People don't know me. They don't know what my life experiences have been. I don't know what their life experiences have been. And the one thing I always say is that, well, did it work for you? And if this didn't work for you, have you tried this? And if that didn't work for you, did you try that? I have a wealth of knowledge that I am willing to share with people. I'm not advising you. I'm not your doctor. I'm not any of that stuff. But these are things that I've tried, and things that I continue to keep up on. And you're right. Healthcare is an extremely it's an ever evolving field, always. And that was just my point. And while I'm not actively working as a nurse, I keep up on my credentials. I keep up on my continuing education hours. In fact, I study, like I read stuff. My continuing education hours, I actually, in any given 2-year period when you're supposed to renew your license, I will have a minimum of usually about 200 hours worth, or 20 credits. So I think there's or within a year's time, I'm sorry, and in 2 years' time, then I have well more than the 36 credit hours that you need. So yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm not I'm not just running off at the mouth. So I may be a little rusty in some things, but I'm not I haven't lost the knowledge, and I haven't lost those skills. So anywho, wow, I've babbled. Like, that's all I've done is babbled. I think that's what I do every week, right? I don't know. That was just one of the points I wanted to bring up tonight. because of the, let me just call it a shit show that's been going on for the last 2+ years. I just feel like I've missed out on so much, and what I could be doing and what I could have done as a nurse, or what I would have been doing through this whole freaking mess, and what my role would have been. And I feel like I really would have excelled at it, just because I'm passionate about it. So, yeah, that's really it. I don't have anything else. So hopefully next week will be better. I hope that you guys all liked the video. I will attempt to put out some more stuff. I just am deciding. I'm trying to evolve my channel. Yep, flaming dumpster fire. Yep. It has been, like, it really has been it has been a dumpster fire, literally, for the last 2 years. And I will say that probably that dumpster fire had been building and building and building for many years. And it just kind of exploded. Oh, see, I haven't turned in my license yet. I won't do it. I just won't do it. I can't. Because I am going to try so hard to heal myself. It's been almost 8 years since my brain injury and my fall and my brain injury. And I have other things, that have evolved since then, have come on since then. A lot of my other symptoms that I had prior to that they were suspect of certain things, certain disease processes. Those have actually, especially over the last, I would say 6 months or so, those have really, really started to come out, and very strongly. And so I don't know. When I go back to my neurologist, well, first of all, I am looking for a new doctor. I do not have a doctor that at this point, I've had the same doctor for almost 20 years, and I adore him as a person, but I feel like he's kind of checking out. He's ready to retire, and he's just biding his time. And so usually he will do, oh yeah, yep. Definitely time when you have health issues like that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to heal from, are health conditions that are not really in my control, but I'm going to find a way to fix them. So, I need to I need to get a good team of doctors that are willing to work with me, and say, no, that's not a good idea, and this is why, or okay, you know what, you want to try it, let's do it, that kind of thing. I need a good care team, and I don't feel that I have one of those anymore. Now, my neurologist, I adore my neurologist, and I will never, 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 never leave her. She is, at this point, she is fantastic. She listens to me, and she's like, she knows my background. I really, she knows my healthcare background, and she knows that I am a very, what do I want to say, inquisitive type of person. So, she's like, whatever you want to do and you feel might help you, I'm on board. Let's do it. So, I am going to have her test me. I think I'm going to talk to her about it and, see if it's actually an issue, and get either get an official diagnosis or, rule it completely out. So anyway, you're young and there should be more resources. Yes, there should be. However, the reason there are not more resources for me is because I am on disability. I'm on permanent disability. And because of that, I have Medicare. And I do not make enough off of Social Security disability every month to even pay my bills. So I couldn't, even if I wanted to, do private care insurance supplemental. And I guess I couldn't afford it. There's just no way. So that is one of the things that I really feel like, because I had to take, because I went on permanent disability at such a young age, I didn't have a large enough work history, a long enough work history where I had built up enough for retirement stuff. I have got to run. I got to shut this up. The family chat's going like crazy, and it just keeps buzzing. So with Medicare and Medicaid, and when you are on Social Security and when you are on Social Security disability, so SSI or SSDI, okay, there absolutely should be more resources available, but there aren't. They're actually more limited because those programs do not want to pay for services. They don't want to. Their whole goal is to not have to pay out any of that stuff. So that's part of the reason why I don't go to the doctor. I don't really use my health insurance for really a whole lot, my Medicare insurance, because I feel like my premiums are about, I don't know, an eighth. Yeah, no. Yeah, they're about an eighth of my disability pay. And my disability pay isn't that much. So again, that's because of the fact that I didn't have a long enough work history. Because anytime that I was not nursing, I was obviously staying at home with my kids, and I was raising my children. I was having my children. Anytime that I have any gaps in employment up until 2014, it's all been due to either I was going to school and bettering myself, getting an education, or I was raising my family, having children, that kind of stuff. So, but I've always otherwise I've had a job. They just were not very good paying jobs. And even as a nurse, I was not paid great. I should have been paid. I was worth a lot more than what I was paid, but I really wasn't doing it for the money. So, correct. That is absolutely correct, Deb. You do. You get punished for trying to get well. So I personally feel like those systems need to be completely revamped, and they need to be reassessed, and they need to be reworked, and they do need to be there for you. They should be there. And we all should pay into those systems, because I mean, anytime you work, you should pay into Medicare and Medicaid, and you should pay your taxes and this and that and the other, and your Social Security, retirement. Like, you should. That's just being a responsible adult, because then when you do retire and you need medical, or you need any other kind of insurance, or you need some sort of a service, you should have coverage for those things. And so they get expensive, but you've spent your entire working adult life paying into that stuff, and it's still not enough. So that's why I say I think that there needs to be changes systemically, like completely systemically, and across the board here, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you do have to tweak it a bit to make it run a little smoother. And we live in what has always been called the richest country in the world. Okay. We live in the best country in the world. And it really doesn't seem like that at this point, in a lot of cases. And there are inequalities, not just in, male, female, race, ethnicity, or any of that stuff. Like, it's not, there's not inequality, it's inequality completely across the board, because where someone is getting the short end of the stick somewhere, somebody else is getting it somewhere else. So I just think that it needs to be revamped, and it needs to be adjusted. And I don't think that you're going to be able to, you cannot fit the needs of everyone. We're not all the same. So you cannot please everyone all of the time, right? And I get that. So there has to be a norm. There has to be those factors have to be taken into account. But something has to be redone. Like, something has to be done about some of the stuff that's going on, because we're just, it feels like we're stuck in the mud. And you look at why does it cost so much so if we were to pay out of pocket for all of the meds that my husband is supposed to be on, if we were to pay for every single penny of that, we would be spending well over $2,000, anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 per month. And he's not even diabetic. Thank the gods for that. Okay. So that's just his blood pressure and allergy and asthma stuff. That's it. My meds, my neurological meds that I just said, nope, I'm done. I'm not paying for them. And I literally pay for 3 meds when necessary. 3 prescription meds when they're necessary. My copays on them are still almost $100 a month. If I were to stay on all of the meds, even on Medicare, my copay would still be well over $100, be between $100 and $200 a month, just for copays on Medicare. So, women are always getting the short end of the stick. Yes and no. Some things yes, some things no. Medically. It really kind of depends on the insurance. I truly believe that. And I think that the level of care that you get from healthcare providers nowadays, some of them, because everything has gone to corporations, it's a healthcare system. It is not it's a healthcare corporation, and there are many of them. It is no longer about healing the sick and keeping people healthy. It's about how much money can we make. That's all. That's what the system is about anymore. So, and that's where inequality comes into play, because you cannot get, because everybody doesn't have the same kind of insurance, and because you have, say you have a state or federal run insurance program that you're on, you are treated differently because you get you don't get the same you won't get the same treatments, meds, cares as you did if you had like a very well-known and expensive insurance, private insurance. And that is just fact. The idiots who make the rules should have to live by those rules at the same level as the people they represent. Exactly. And that is where I think, so our politicians, they have free healthcare, which is fine. They should, but it should be no different than what we have. No free medical for life, and no free medical for family members. Yeah, exactly. I agree. All right. Sorry, Jess. Hopefully, you're already eating dinner. Your meds are starting to work. Yay! Social Security provides no security. That is fact. Fact. Hi, Terry. That's okay. I'm glad you're home. Yeah, don't I look lovely? Woo! So here's a fun fact. I put in a grocery order for pickup, and that's why I was a couple minutes late getting on. It's because we went to do that, and I talked to my son on the phone. But I literally had 18 items. Okay. I got a 10-pound tube of 80% ground beef. I got milk, creamer, coffee beans, butter. I got 2 packages of shredded cheese so I can make meals. I got a can of chili beans, a can of diced tomatoes, some pasta. Like, I literally had 18 items, and it cost me $112, like $111.50 something. I'm like, are you kidding me? For 18 items? So if there was not a more urgent time for people to be producing and consuming and preserving their own food, I don't know when that time would be if it's not now, because it's ridiculous. 15 million twos from being legally stoned. You're 15 minutes. Okay. I love you. You must have taken your lore tab, didn't you? Oh, So I assume Barb, Deb is also a retired nurse. So she's also a retired LPN. So it's just a room full of nurses. Like, it's just a chat full of nurses. Yeah. Or I don't know, Ken, maybe it's Ken that was the nurse. I don't know. I have worked with some of the best male nurses. I really have. They have been the nurses, the men that have become nurses are just freaking amazing nurses. They really are fantastic nurses. I know it's always been kind of traditionally a woman's field, but I have met some. I know personally. I've worked with so many male nurses that were just phenomenal nurses, and it's so funny because there's a guy that lives here in my county that he, let's see, I think he graduated like 2 years, maybe before, a year or two before I even came to school, where where I went to school, high school at, before I even entered high school. So I think he actually graduated in like 88, maybe. But anyway, he had a reputation. He was a badass. Like, you didn't want to fight this guy. Like, if he was pissed at you, you were in deep trouble, because he's only going to be nice one time, and you get under his skin, he's going to look at you and he's going to knock you out. There's a couple of guys like that, right? This one actually went on to be a nurse, and it's so funny because he is not the persona that he gives off. He's not even the aura that he gives off to public when he is at work as a nurse. It is so funny. And I got to work with him a lot, and he still will, like, even though I'm not retired, if I see him in public, he's like, they're just missing out on one of the best nurses ever, and all this stuff. Like, he's always complimentary to me, and he's not that way with a lot of people. He's just got that persona that you're not going to mess with me. But he is the best nurse, and he's so smart, and he's just this big burly guy, and he gives some of the best care I've ever seen, and I appreciate him for that, and I appreciate that about him, and he when I first started working with him, he would tell me, he's like, "You let on to anybody, you're in trouble." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." So, but yeah, he's just, and he's a family man and the whole 9 yards. Like, he's really a fantastic nurse. And I worked with one that this guy was so cool. Like, he was fun, he was smart, all of the patients, the residents actually, because it was in a long-term nursing facility, long-term care facility. Anyway, all of the residents loved him. He was just that kind of a guy. I don't know. He was just a really fantastic nurse, and I loved working with him. And he actually it was so weird. Like, he would do night shift. And the guy is like, well, he's really tall, and he's really athletic, and he's really fit, and he was like super, super healthy. And then I had left, the facility because we moved to Omaha. I had left the facility I was working at. And within about 6 months, I got a message from one of the other nurses, and it said, because she was like, how are you doing out in Omaha? Blah, 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 kept in touch with me and whatnot. And so I was asking about this particular nurse as well, him, how he was, and, how is everybody and this and that. And she said, yeah, he was diagnosed with MS and he's not doing well now. Like he got the diagnosis and just went downhill. And I'm like, that is so sad because he was such a phenomenal nurse, and he literally had to quit within, she said, I think she said it was like about 3 months after I had left, he ended up having to, he just all of a sudden had all of these episodes and he got diagnosed with MS, and within that 6 months, he was retired. He was done. He was on permanent disability. Like, oh my gosh. Plastic molding technologist. Ooh, fun. And half a flexeril. I say a lot of people are going back to the old ways of living, growing food if you want to eat. Yep, exactly. Do it. You want to eat, you got to grow your food. Some of us will help others who can't grow much or whatever, but obviously we all have to eat. We all have to make money to pay bills and live. And I don't think there are many people that are doing that right now. Unfortunately, it seems like you're, you should be enjoying your job, and you shouldn't have to work so hard to gain absolutely so little and just to live. And it's frustrating. One of the male nurses who took care of me and my giant hives has decided that nurses need to have a big pay raise. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Never knew how little they were paid until he got his first job. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it is insane. He gets on every advisory board and joins every group he can to get the changes started. That's awesome. Good for him. Or raise animals to barter for what we can't grow. Exactly. So I still have on my plans to get this coop done so I can hopefully start a breeding program, and I'm hoping that'll help. But oh, the chicken feed is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So I use an organic layer feed, but mine is mine are not pellets, they're granules. And because I can't find them in pellet. And honestly, my chickens, especially one of my chickens, Molly is missing the top part of her beak. How she manages to eat is beyond me, but I think it's because she can scoop. So, and she can kind of swallow. Whereas the other girls, they all have their full beak. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. That came out of nowhere. So I have to go with it's crumble. So I have to go with the crumble, but I want to feed organic, and I know that it's a little more expensive, but it's so much better than just a commercial feed. However, it's still a commercial feed, even though it's USDA organic. It's still a commercial feed, and whether the USDA certifies it as organic or not doesn't mean it's actually organic. But I will say that I might sneeze again. Oh my gosh. It's still a better quality. It just doesn't have as much protein in it, it seems, as like a commercial layer feed pellet. And I don't know. I feel like I have enough land. I might actually be able to grow grains for my chickens to do my own chicken feed. And then I know what they're getting. I know how much they need. I know how much they, of certain things that they're going to need. And, but I just don't know if I can manage it. I really don't know if I can manage, growing grains on top of producing all the food that I need to produce. Meaning produce, fruits and veg, I don't know. I don't know. I've been trying so hard to work it out in my head and even down on paper and all of those things. And I can't seem to, really figure out exactly where I want to go with it, how I want to go about it, and how I can pull all of that off on my own. So quail feed is now $20 for a 40-pound bag. They used to be 50 pounds. Oh yeah. Yeah. My organic layer crumble is $25.99, I think, for a 35-pound bag. So yeah, it's expensive. And in the winter, it's not as expensive. I don't have to buy as much because I feed them scratch grains, and black oil sunflower seed, mix it all in, which I did do a TikTok about that. And I did share it on Instagram. I didn't make a video about it here or for YouTube. I should do a full video on it. Just like full composition of why I feed my chickens the way I feed them. I got a lot of criticism for it, and they're like, "Oh, it's a commercial. You should just stop it. You should try this." And I'm like, it's literally more expensive for less than what I'm doing now. And at least what I'm doing now is still considered organic. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. And that's the thing. Everybody has their own way of doing how they raise their animals, what they feed them, whatever. For us, with my chickens, if I do not feed them an organic feed, we can't eat their eggs. I can't eat store-bought organic eggs. I can't eat free-range organic eggs. Anything store-bought, or even if I were to buy from a private farmer, I can't eat those eggs because the sulfur content is insane. The sulfur reaction that we all have in our guts when we eat commercially produced eggs is insane. So it was mentioned to me I should try scratch and peck feed. And I looked it up, and it was like, what was it? Like $40 for like 25 pounds, or no, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was super expensive. It was almost twice what I pay now. And it was, and it was for less. And I'm just like, I can't do that. So my cost, the way that I cut my cost, I don't feed them scratch grains. I don't feed them corn in the summertime. I won't. Corn is literally there's no nutrient density whatsoever in corn for any animals. So what it does is it produces heat as it's being digested, which it's not actually fully digested. But it's not very nutrient packed. So I feed a mixture in the wintertime. I mix a bag of the organic layer crumble, a 10-pound bag of black oil sunflower seeds, and a bag of, and that is actually a 40-pound bag, I think. Okay, so I don't know, of corn, scratch grain. And my girls are not producing because it's cold. I've had like pretty much only a few eggs a week. It's just too cold for them to produce. So, but that is also why, of course, now we're in winter. And even though they're in my garden and they're still scratching and all that other stuff, they're probably not going to get a whole lot. They're free ranging in my garden. I had to fence off my garden, obviously, but to keep them in there. But that is where their coop is in my garden. We moved it there this fall, and I'm like, you can just clean out my garden all winter long, and we'll move on. In March. Part of the reason why I want to get moving on the coop, on the shed conversion, is because I want to get them. I got to move them out of that garden by no later than March. Demon, you cannot come in. That's my cat, literally. That is my cat messing with the doorknob. Like, let me in, let me in. He's such a turd. So, anyway, the reason I want to get them moved by March is because then by the time planting in the ground comes around in May, mid-May, Mother's Day weekend, then all of their stuff will be hopefully composted down, because obviously I'll go in and I'll till it in, and I'll move them, till that all in, and then and let it rest before I plant. So give my quail romaine leaves, sliced apples, milky sprays, and I save the eggshells to bake and grind for calcium. I do give them oh my gosh, will you stop it, Demon? They get eggshells. I grind those up and give them back. I usually throw it in their feed. I'll give them fresh, like when we're done eating vegetables, we're not probably going to finish like the bag of lettuce that I bought. We might have eaten half of the, spinach, whatever. Then before it goes bad, I take it out to them, let them eat it. So they're getting food scraps of fruits and veggies. I also give them, I haven't yet this year. Oh yes, I have. I do give them warm oatmeal, warm cooked oatmeal. They love that. And I put some, I'll usually put some herbs in it, like some rosemary and some basil and thyme and stuff like that. Like I put herbs and stuff in it. I don't give them sugar. I try not to give them bread products because it's really not good. Flour products are not really that great for them. but they love bread and they love soft shell tortillas. So they'll get those once in a while as a treat. So Tony will take them out something to, usually to divert Lou from me so I can get what I'm needing to get done. And he honestly, he's not fooling anybody. He loves those chickens. But yeah, he likes to go out and give them treats like that, once in a while, and kind of divert his attention, lose attention, and so I get in usually like kind of clean out the coop and the nesting box and stuff like that. I just did, not yesterday, it was the day before, Saturday morning, I went out in my Carhartts. I have Carhartt bibs and coat, and I have to go out in full gear because A, it's cold, and B, because Lou is such a jerk. He'll attack me. So I went out Saturday and I had to shut him out of the coop while I was in there trying to feed, water, clean out the nesting box, fix the handle on the wooden nesting box, and and just do some general, maintenance cleaning kind of stuff. And he decided he was going to try and be a jerk. And yep, I kicked him halfway down the fence line. I just kept coming at him like with my foot, and I'm like, nope, I'm the boss, knock it off. Obviously I wasn't kicking him, but you know what I mean, I was using my foot. I'm like, go ahead, attack my leg, because you're not getting through my Carhartts. So and he learned that day. So he left me alone. Maybe that was on Thursday, I don't remember, Thursday or Friday that happened, I guess. So every day that I go out and do that, though, like this morning was really weird, because he had, since I'd done that, he decided, okay, nope, gotta leave Mom alone. Then this morning I went out to open the gate, and he come out of the gate, and I stood outside of the fence, and I can reach around and flip the lock up on the pen on the gate and open the door, right? Open the gate door. And then I usually come out and do chores later. But when we take the dogs out first thing in the morning, we just go out and open the gate so they can at least come out into the garden. And then I go out and do chores later, a little bit later in the morning. And he came at me through the fence this morning because I wasn't wearing my Carhartts, and I had on plaid patterned pajama pants. He does not like patterns. He does not like pink, the color pink. And there's another color that he like, it'll just set him off, and he's just mean. It's so weird. So, polka dots. He does not like polka dots. So my birds are inside bedroom. Inside in a bedroom. So they are still laying. 16 birds give me 14 plus eggs a day until November. Then they drop down to 10 a day with less light. Nice. That is really nice. It's my girls just aren't laying. And then when they do, they aren't sitting on those eggs, and they lay. Like, I would literally have to be out in that coop for like a full 8 hours straight, because they all lay at different times. And because it's so cold out, even though the wind is all blocked off and there's, straw in the nesting boxes and stuff, the eggs are freezing. And when, you know, I can collect, even if I collect twice a day, I still end up with frozen eggs, and then they're not laying as many. And yeah, so I've in the last 2 weeks, I have had, I'm sorry, the last 3 weeks, I've had a half a dozen good eggs that weren't either broken or completely frozen, so solid that like I could do nothing with them, or just weren't there. I was just like, what is going on? It's so ridiculous. These girls are being freeloaders. So, yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to change up some stuff, and we'll see what we can get done with the chickens, but I can't promise anything that's, you know. I did buy some eggs that were from the store. They're supposed to be free range, organic, the whole 9 yards. Now I haven't like made them as fried eggs or scrambled eggs or anything like that. Those have been okay mixing into, you know, as ingredients. They haven't bothered us. But on the side of them, on the side of the carton, it's really cool. It has printed where those eggs came from, what farm they came from. Like, that's really cool. And the farm that I got them from was from here in Iowa. That was printed on the side. Now, this company is out of Oklahoma. And they have an application that you can do to, I've been scrambling the eggs and freezing them in Ziploc bags. I have 7 dozen I need to use or save. 4 quail eggs make 1 large chicken egg. Yep. So they have this application that you can actually apply to become one of their farms, but you have to be in an NRCS, which is natural resources. You have to do you have to be in that kind of a program. Your farm has to be, and they have to be totally free range, nothing but organic, that kind of stuff. Like, you can't. So, which is honestly, it's the way I raise my chickens anyway. So, I'm kind of thinking that might be, if I can get my stuff set up the way I want to, that might be an option for me. I could sell to them and they distribute. So, if I can produce enough. And some of the farms, like one of the farms, the farm that I got, that those eggs ended up coming from here in Iowa, she actually is it's a woman-owned farm. She does everything on her own. She raises chickens for eggs and meat, and she raises goats for dairy, and makes cheeses and stuff like that. And she only has, when I was looking up the name, she has, gosh, I can't remember. It's not a huge farm, but I mean, she's grossing well over $100,000 a year. I'm just like, holy cow. But I can't imagine what her expenses are, because she's NRCS compliant. She's NPIP certified, I think. She's like certified organic. She's all kinds of stuff. And I'm like thinking to myself, going, wow, you know, this lady's doing all of these things. I cannot even imagine how much that costs. So while that number looks good on paper, I highly doubt that's what she's making. Like, it's all going out in expenses because you cannot run an organic farm like that. I just don't think that you can run a farm on that little amount of money and that be cleared. You know what I mean? I think it would just, farming is incredibly hard to make money at unless you're a big commercial monocropping farm. I don't even know that they make that much money. Like, I think that, and obviously yields make a difference and all this other stuff, but if you are, monoculture and you're trying to farm 1,000 acres worth of land, but it's soybean, it's corn for ethanol, and it's alfalfa or fescue or whatever for hay. And if you are using commercial, if you're using like commercial fertilizers and commercial chemicals, to do that large of a area of land, I can't imagine that even if you have bumper crops and yields and whatnot, I can't imagine you make that much money. It does take money to make money. You're right. It does. It takes a lot of money to make money. And it's also sad because you can no longer really be a family farm for most people. Well, hello. How are you? Tyler, Texas. My daddy's down in Texas. So yeah, I think farming is it's a double-edged sword. It's such a double-edged sword. So I think you have to be diverse, and I think you have to put in a lot of money, but you have to figure out how to get that money back out, and wow, numbers look great on paper. They do. Numbers look fantastic on paper. And there seems to be a game that needs to be played. I don't know how to play that game, but there are some farmers around here that they obviously know how to play the game very well. At least the numbers game. I don't understand why it costs $1 million for, a combine head or a planter. I don't understand why a tractor costs, just a simple garden tractor. Like, okay, so the Kubota B series tractors. So I looked into one because I really, really like that would be the perfect size for me for what I need around here, to get a bucket on the front, a mower deck, and the tiller, the garden tiller for the back of it, attachment, and then the tractor itself. $30,000, roughly. It was real close to $30,000 for a small utility tractor. I thought, why? Why does it cost that damn much for a tiny tractor? I was thinking, I'm like, I can go buy like a Ford, an old 40s or 50s Ford tractor for, $3 or $4 grand. It'll look rough, but it'll, and then I have to buy all the other old implements that go on it, and I still wouldn't spend that much money on it. But, I guess maintenance cost and this and that. Like, I just don't understand. I don't understand it. And you've got tractors with GPS and all this other crap in it. And I'm going, does that really, like, how did the old farmers do it? How did the old farmers do? I mean, how did my grandfather plant and harvest his fields without GPS? Like, what are you doing? Why do you need GPS? You don't need GPS. Like, satellite mapping and all that other stuff. I'm thinking, my grandparents didn't farm that way. Why do you need all of this equipment in here? People are just getting insane when it comes to that stuff. And, you know, your tractors are costing millions and millions of dollars. And it seems like the farmers, at least around here, a lot of the farmers are, every year, you can bet they've got a new tractor, new planter, new combine head. They've got brand new dually pickup. And they got all this nice equipment, and they got these big, humongous Morton outbuildings to store all of this equipment in. And they've got all these big hog confinements, and they've got these big fancy houses and all this stuff. And I'm like, I know you don't have that kind of money. Where are you getting that money? That's millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year. Where does this money come from? I know you're not making that in farming. You cannot possibly be making that in farming. So yeah, it's a big numbers game. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I want to get into farming, like my grandfather did. And I can honestly say that I don't remember my grandfather using, going out and spraying a bunch of crops. Like, he went out and spread manure. But I don't remember him going out and spraying chemicals on his crops. I remember the broke ass Case IH and Massey Ferguson tractors that we used that they used. I just wrote in. And the broke ass John Deere tractor that he had, and combine, and with a four cones, four head combine. I'm just like, how did he farm 1,000 acres? Well, he didn't farm 1,000 acres. His farm was a total of 1,000 acres, but probably 800 of those anyway. Like, how do you plant and harvest with what you got? Like, that's so crazy to me. Yeah, it's just so expensive to get into farming. And yeah, they'll lease them, but even still, you lease them, what are you're still making a lease payment every month or whatever. Like, I don't know what the financing stuff is like there, but even leasing them, you cannot possibly be making that much money to lease that much equipment that is so expensive. Plus buy all of the seed, plus buy all of the soil amendments, and the the anhydrous, and the lime, the ag lime, and the all of these things. Like, I don't. And then you pay somebody to come out and pump out your hog confinement pit, and then they take it out and they don't even knife it in most of the time like they're supposed to, but whatever. So I don't know. I don't want to complain about it. I'm not complaining about them. I just don't understand. I really feel like there's such a disconnect with what a farmer really truly should be or is. And I sincerely don't remember my grandparents farming that way. I was a young kid. Not gonna lie, so I probably don't remember clearly everything, but I just don't remember all that stuff. I don't remember them doing that. And my grandparents were, they were rich in land, but they were poor in money. And they didn't have fancy stuff, they had their equipment they had. The equipment that they had, they kept forever and ever and ever and ever. And the buildings and stuff like that, the outbuildings and things like that, they were always kind of like, sometimes they were pretty run down and take a lot to fix them back up and, keep them that way for at least a while until they had to repair it all again. So, a lot of, so what I have noticed, and this is what happened so when my grandparents were farming, when they were alive, my grandmother worked outside of the home, and my grandfather was at home on the farm doing farm all day long, from dawn to dusk. So my grandmother's income paid for, the bills, the excess stuff. And then they did cattle, they did hogs, they did chickens, they did turkeys. Trying to think of what else. They had horses. And my grandfather was actually breeding. My grandfather was actually doing Siberian Huskies. He was actually breeding Siberian Huskies. He was a licensed breeder. So yeah, it was just whatever he could do on the farm to create more income, he would do. And then my grandmother worked. Actually, she worked in the laundry department in a long-term care facility. So, and she worked there 50-ish years, like basically from the time it opened, I think. So, and then they always had gardens, grandma, and which is also why the old farmers had. That's why they had big families back then, because all the kids could help. And all of us grandkids always helped. So, I learned a lot on that farm, even at a very young age. And then my other grandfather, my pop, that guy taught me more than anything. The stuff that he taught me was ridiculously useful and, knowledgeable and all of those things. So yeah. A lot of the neighbors around, so a lot of the farmers around here, it seems like so usually it's the guy farming, the husband's farming, the wife is working outside of the home. But even still, that can't possibly be enough to have some of the stuff they have. It's like every year they have it's like clockwork. Every year they have all new equipment or, all new vehicles, and they've added onto their houses, and and I know where these women work. I'm friends with most of these farmers. I just I wouldn't say I'm friends with them, but I try to be. But I am a little critical of their practices. I'm not fond of their practices. So that makes me an enemy. If it wasn't for my subscriptions and donations, I couldn't have the peacocks and 75 birds. Exactly. Feed mine all organic, and the peacocks need special food. Yep. and so did the turkeys. Behind, I had to go out and see the drama outside. Oh, girl, what's the drama outside? Tell me. Tell us. Spill it. Spill the tea, girl. Yeah, that's something that, like, Terry, you have worked so hard over this last year and a half. But most especially over this last year, you have worked so hard on your farm, and trying to make that farm really work for you. And I don't know. I hope that I hope that I'm at least somewhat helpful to you. So, with advice, I can't, I'm not there. I don't see everything. I don't know everything. And so, yeah. But I try to be as supportive as I can. I'm far more supportive of our smaller farmers, our actual still barely hanging on family farms. Like, those are the people that I really support. We have some farmers that live right around me that they've incorporated. They've got this huge family farm, but it's a family corporation is all it is. And their practices they're not sustainable, I personally feel. So, yeah. And I just see what's going on. I can only see what's going on from the outside. I'm from a distance looking in. I'm not in their daily lives. I don't know for sure, but there's so many better ways of doing so many things that I, even as not even a commercial farmer, would be able to tell you that's not good. That's not ecologically sound. That's not economically sound. It's not sustainable. It's not regenerative. It's not any of those things. And you just keep dumping and dumping and dumping, and you're dumping the waste and stripping of all of the benefit. And it doesn't mean, necessarily, but like the soil and the water around here is, it's being highly contaminated at this point. It's getting to that point where it's going to be levels where we aren't going to be able to use the water and the soil without a ton of chemical amendment. And that's not what Mother Earth wanted. We're just not treating our planet kindly, and it drives me crazy. Oh, thank you. I'm your rock. I I know I'm your Yoda. I'm your personal Yoda. So it was funny. So Terry, funny story about that. You know how you had said that to me quite a while ago. You're like, nope, you're my very own Yoda. And I was talking to another homesteader that I just met, whatnot. She's not even in the state either. She's clear out on the West Coast. And I was talking to her about different things, and she's like, you're just like this wealth of knowledge. And you're like, she goes, you're just like you're like a Yoda. And I started laughing, and I said, that's funny because Terry said that to me. And I've had a couple other people say that to me. Funny thing was that then a friend of ours was leaving a comment on some stuff that Tony had done, that he just posted. And his friend from childhood is like, you're my very own Yoda. So I guess we're just We're just the Yodas. I buy from small farms before the big box stores. Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. But it'd be great if I could find that. There are not a lot of small farms around here. Most of them are very overly commercially run. So my goal this year is to make it before I go to a big store. I'm trying. My farm has 100% sand. I found out peanuts and carrots love it. Yes, they do. They do. Also, well, most root vegetables will like it. Yes. My thoughts are save your pennies. At some point, this will all crash down. You might have opportunities. You know what? I agree with you. I agree. I would love to be able to acquire about, well, I'd like a lot of land just simply because I want to organically raise things. Like, I shouldn't say organically. I keep saying organically. It's not necessarily organic. It's just natural. You know, the way things are supposed to be raised. So chemical free and hormone free, and, you know, only giving you stuff, giving the animals what they need. You know, if they're sick, they'll get something, you know, if, you know, they'll get the very best of what I can give them, and, you know, that kind of stuff, because they're ultimately going to provide me and my family and hopefully several other families, you know, with good, nutritious, awesome food. And for not a ton of money, you know. I was looking at when I was in the store, I don't know, it was just before Christmas. Just before Christmas, I'd gone into the store. I was actually buying the holiday meal food. The ham was expensive. I couldn't even believe the price of ham. I mean, it always goes up during the holidays, ham and turkey, but turkey is always usually pretty cheap, and it hasn't been this last couple of years. And I was actually comparing. So I was at, where was I at? I can't remember what store I was at. It might have been, was it Walmart? No, it was Target, I think. Anyway, they had a section of, I was looking at produce, and I was looking, I think, peppers, and it was organic peppers and, you know, peppers. It didn't say that these were USDA certified organic peppers, and these were not. Same pepper. Literally, they looked the same. No difference. The organic pepper was like 30 cents higher. It was like, I want to say like $1.39 for one bell pepper. And it was, I think, 89 cents for one bell pepper, the non-organic bell pepper. And these were both on sale. And I'm like, a pepper shouldn't cost that much. That's crazy. So inflation is happening. But I found that super crazy. And what really is what is the difference? Because in looking at, I was looking at becoming organically USDA organic certified for my homestead. And I was looking at the requirements for like what you could not use for chemicals. And some of those chemicals were like, I still wouldn't use those chemicals. Like, what? Why? How can you how can you call that organic? It's a chemical. It's a man-made chemical. You know, yes, you know, the organic Seven Dust is legal, or some, I don't know, something like that. And I'm like, that's a chemical. Why? No. That's not something I'm willing to do. Like, I'm not going to put chemicals of any sort on my food. If it's, I'm just not going to do it. It will absolutely take years and years and years and years to heal our land. I agree. It will take so long to heal our land. And if we can get enough people, enough farmers to start saying, okay, we got to back off the chemicals, what can we put on instead to help correct this problem? You know, can we stop growing a food source for a fuel source, or, you know, stuff like that, you know? It's just, it's crazy. I find it to be complete insanity, the stuff that we are doing to our land. But anyway, all right. I am going to get off of here. I am stuffing up more the more I talk, and I'm getting gravelly, and I got to go take the other half of my pallet of vitamins. And I think I have been drinking green tea all day long. I didn't have any coffee today because I was out, and I'm like, oh, well, I've been drinking nothing but green tea all day long, and I hadn't eaten anything until it took I ate some crackers, like a small pack of club crackers. And I'm like, I'm actually kind of hungry. So when we went out to get to pick up the grocery order, we stopped and got a burger, and I got a root beer, and I don't know what I did with it. That's why I opened this, and I've not drank hardly a couple drinks out of it. And I love cream soda, but oh well. Anywho, okay. It takes 3 years to get your organic approval, and they go to the people next door and ask what you use. They pop on you, They go back 5 years. Oh yeah, no, we're organic certification even here is super crazy. They can, and that was another reason why I decided not to do hemp farming, because it's super expensive to get into. It was going to cost me, so in order to get anything, I was going to get my chickens and my chicken eggs, my garden produce, so my big garden, and my what was the other thing? There was something else. Oh, I was going to do apiary, bees. So to get those 3 things certified organic was going to cost me over $1,000. And I'm like, you're kidding me. That's not going to happen. And then I looked into hemp farming, and it's a minimum $1,000 to get into. They come and inspect you pretty much whenever they feel like it, like almost like if they want to pop in on you daily, they can. And they will test your crops. And if it has even the slightest amount of THC higher than the accepted levels, you have to rip out the whole crop and burn it. Yep. And you have to do it with them present. And then all your money and your profit just went down the drain. It just went. So hemp farming is pretty lucrative, but yeah, it's super expensive and it can be more costly than profitable. So yeah. I'll be glad when the war on that is done, because I'm telling you, that's ridiculous. So anyway, all right. Okay. I love all of you. Thank you for being here and listening to me ramble for the last 2.5 hours. And I will try. I'm going to try really hard to get another video out this week. I will get better. I will. Hopefully, I will have pictures. I can show you ultrasound pictures next week. I'm super excited. And I think that's it. So I've got a busy week ahead of me. I know that most everybody else does too. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I wish you many blessings. So live from the earth and play in the dirt. Bye.